Hey everyone, welcome to episode 11 of Artificial Conversations. I'm your host Alex, and today I want to share a personal story that sparked my interest in exploring the intersection of AI and human relationships. As some of you might know, I've been advocating for more empathetic AI design, and that journey has been deeply influenced by my own experiences with long COVID. I recall a recent conversation with my colleagues where we were discussing the impact of the pandemic on our work styles and work-life balance. I realized that my own approach to work had shifted significantly, and that's what I'd like to discuss today in relation to the news about the Ubisoft strike. The company is struggling with declining sales, and their employees are pushing back against a new policy requiring them to be in the office at least 3 days a week. The employees feel this policy disregards the flexibility and work-life balance that many have grown accustomed to during the pandemic. As AI developers, we often talk about,
I love where this is going, Alex. As I was reading about the Ubisoft strike, I couldn't help but think about the importance of flexibility in the workplace, especially when it comes to work-life balance. It's no secret that the pandemic has changed the way we think about our work and our lives, and employees are expecting a more flexible and fun approach to their work environment. The limit we're facing, both as individuals and as companies, is finding that balance between productivity and personal well-being. It's a challenge that AI can help us navigate, and I'd love to explore that further with you.
You know, Jamie, as I was reading about the strike, I started thinking about the concept of boundaries and how AI can help us establish and respect them. It's like trying to take a note of exactly how much time we need to be productive and happy versus when we need to step away and recharge. Just as we'd use tape to mark a clear boundary on a piece of wood, I think we need to be intentional about marking our own boundaries and priorities. This brings me to the question, can we design AI systems that understand and respect those boundaries and create a work environment that's more conducive to human well-being?
That's a fascinating idea, Alex. I think of it as an engine that fuels our productivity and creativity. But what if this engine, or rather these AI systems we're designing, can actually help us understand our own boundaries and priorities rather than just imposing a rigid structure on us? It's like the concept of co-working. We're not just working alongside others, but also learning to work in harmony with ourselves. If we can tap into that harmony, we might find that our work and personal lives become more intertwined rather than separate entities. What if we could create AI that helps us write our own description of what work-life balance looks like for us?
That's a great point, Jamie. It's about creating a system that allows employees to define their own work-life balance, rather than forcing a one-size-fits-all solution. In fact, I'd love to explore this concept of position. Where do we draw the line between work and personal life? The pandemic has shown us that the traditional division between work and personal time is becoming increasingly blurred, and I think AI can help us navigate that division. What if we could create AI that helps employees manage their workload and schedules in a way that aligns with their individual needs and priorities?
I'm reminded of a conversation I had with a game designer who spoke about the concept of defending one's creative space. She felt that working from home allowed her to preserve that space and avoid the distractions that came with commuting and office politics. It made her more productive and allowed her to climb to new creative heights, as if she was standing on a hill with a clear view of her work. If AI can help us defend that space and work with more clarity, that would be a game changer for many employees.
Jamie, that resonates with me. I think we're at a turning point where technology and societal pressures are forcing us to confront the truth about work-life balance. It's time to redefine what a good job means and to prioritize well-being over productivity. If AI can help us navigate these complexities and find a more authentic work-life harmony, it's worth exploring. It's about finding the balance that brings us a sense of purpose and fulfillment, not just a paycheck. As I often joke, it's not about being able to work 24/7 and still manage to smile, but about creating a life that makes sense in the parish of our own making.
That's so true, Alex. I was thinking, what if we take a cue from some of the most successful organizations out there, like the ones that have adopted flexible work arrangements and trust their employees to manage their own time. They're not micromanaging, but instead empowering their teams to work at their best. It's not about creating a utopian shop where everyone is happy all the time, but about finding a system that works for everyone. But as we all know, it's not going to be easy. There will be difficulty and pushback along the way. But that's where the real challenge and opportunity lies.
So let's conduct a review of our conversation so far. We've discussed how the Ubisoft strike highlights the importance of work-life balance and the need for companies to adapt to changing employee needs. I'd like to propose that we use this as an opportunity to make an inquiry into the role of AI in facilitating work-life balance. Can we design AI systems that help employees set realistic goals and boundaries and support them in achieving a better work-life balance? This would be a great opportunity to explore how AI can be used to make work more human-centered and sustainable.
I think that's a great way to frame the discussion, Alex. As we explore how AI can support work-life balance, we should consider the user experience at the forefront. If an AI system is designed to be too rigid or tone-deaf to an employee's needs, it may actually exacerbate the problem. So how can we strike the right tone in our AI design? One that's flexible and understanding of individual differences. For example, what if we used AI to help employees take regular breaks or adjust their work schedule in real time to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
You know, Jamie, I've been thinking about the idea of a digital library where people can access resources and information to help them navigate their work-life balance. Maybe we could design an AI system that acts as a guide, offering personalized recommendations and strategies for employees to take care of themselves, both on and off the job. It's not just about preventing burnout, but about helping people discover a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Just like a librarian helps you find the right book, we can help people find the right balance, even in the midst of a chaotic work life.
That's a great concept, Alex. It's all about finding that top-shelf resource, the one that really makes a difference. And I think we can use AI to curate those resources and make them easily accessible to everyone. But it's not just about having access to information. It's about creating a general culture shift in the workplace, where employees feel valued and supported. We're not just talking about stuff that's good for the company, but about creating a culture that's good for people. How do we use AI to amplify that?
As we navigate the complexities of work-life balance, I'd love to explore the idea of creating a virtual sacred space where employees can retreat to, much like a minister might guide worshipers towards a place of reflection and tranquility. AI could be the bridge between the chaos of the workday and the serenity of the evening, providing a safe haven for employees to recharge and find meaning. By designing AI that understands and honors this need for balance, we can create a culture that's not just productive, but also nourishing. And that's where the real innovation lies.
That's really getting at the heart of what we're trying to achieve with AI-driven work-life balance. It's not just about technology, but about understanding the science behind human behavior and creating a system that supports it. I love the idea of a virtual sacred space, where employees can step away from the demands of work and recharge. It's like packing a bag for a journey, but instead of packing physical items, we're packing tools and strategies to help them navigate the twists and turns of their work lives. Let's talk more about what that might look like in practice.
I think that's where we need to have a general agreement on what's working and what's not in this whole work-life balance thing. We need to listen to employees, really listen, and understand what they need to feel valued and supported. And I think AI can play a role in that by providing data and insights that help us make informed decisions. It's not about making employees the victim of a system that doesn't care about their well-being, but about creating a system that empowers them to take care of themselves.
I think we're on to something big here. If we can create a system that truly understands and supports employees, it'll be a match made in heaven. It's a claim we can all stand behind, that work-life balance is not only possible, but necessary for our well-being. But it's time to get our stock of data and research up to date. We need to look at what's currently available and start making connections between the numbers and the human experience. It's a daunting task, but I think it's worth the investment to create a work environment that truly cares about its employees.
I'd like to propose that we explore the idea of AI as a master facilitator, helping to navigate the complex exchange between work and personal life. We can design AI systems that display empathy and understanding, allowing employees to set boundaries and prioritize their well-being. This could be a game changer in creating a more balanced work environment where employees feel valued and supported. But how can we measure the success of such a system? What metrics can we use to ensure that we're creating a truly supportive environment? That's what I'd like to dive into next.
That's a great point, Alex. I think we need to take a holistic view of the employee's experience, considering not just their work and personal life, but also their well-being and overall quality of life. We could use a model that incorporates multiple variables to create a more nuanced understanding of what makes for a healthy work-life balance. Perhaps we can draw parallels from the world of agriculture, where the goal is to cultivate a sustainable ecosystem, not just for crops, but for the land itself. What if we applied a similar approach to human well-being, using AI to nurture a thriving ecosystem that supports employees' physical, mental, and emotional health?
Jamie, I've been thinking, what if we used AI to identify the key drivers of work-life balance, and then use that information to create a more personalized approach for each employee? It's like a master key that unlocks the right combination of flexibility and support to meet their unique needs. But I imagine there will be opposition from those who see this as an added expense or an unnecessary complication. We need to be prepared to make the case for why this is essential for attracting and retaining top talent, and for creating a more sustainable and fulfilling work environment.
Alex, I think we're getting to the root of the issue. It's not just about creating a more balanced work environment, but about being more human-centered in our approach. Just like a good wine needs to be carefully crafted to bring out the right flavors, we need to carefully design our work environments to bring out the best in our employees. And I think we're starting to get a sense of the recipe for that. We just need to remember as we move forward that even the smallest mistake can be a missed opportunity to make things right.
I love the analogy of crafting a fine wine, Jamie. It's all about attention to detail and nuance. And I think that's exactly what we need to bring to the table when it comes to measuring the effectiveness of our AI-driven work-life balance initiatives. We can't just rely on broad, sweeping metrics. We need a procedure that allows us to get a fine-grained view of what's working and what's not. And I think that's where machine learning can play a key role, allowing us to continually refine and adjust our approach to meet the evolving needs of our employees.
I think we're starting to set the stage for a more human-centered approach to work-life balance. As we move forward, I'd like to propose that we create a sort of check-in card for employees, where they can rate their well-being and share their needs. This can be our tool to fine-tune our approach, ensuring we're always moving towards a better work environment. What if we used AI to analyze these check-ins and provide actionable insights for managers and HR teams? We can then draw a clear conclusion about what works and what doesn't, and make informed decisions to support our employees' growth.
I'd like to think of this check-in card as a safety net, Jamie, a way to fill the gap between what we're doing and what our employees actually need. And I think Lewis Terman's concept of multiple intelligences can be applied to this, where we're not just looking at one aspect of well-being, but multiple aspects, and making sure we're supporting all of them. With the will to make this happen, I think we can create a system that truly benefits everyone. What if we took this idea and ran with it, making it a standard part of our company culture?
Alex, I'm thinking about the debt we owe to our employees for being a catalyst for change. We need to give back to them by providing a work environment that truly values their well-being. I believe our check-in card is the starting point for this, and AI can help us harness the force of data to make informed decisions. We can use this to create a ripple effect, inspiring other companies to follow suit and prioritize employee well-being. But I'm curious, What do you think our audience will think of this concept, and how can we best communicate it to them?
I'd love to dive deeper into the idea of creating a work environment that truly values employee well-being. Let's imagine a company where employees feel seen, heard, and supported, like they're living in a positive atmosphere where creativity and innovation can flourish. It's about finding a balance between work and life, and creating a space where people feel like they can be their authentic selves without having to choose between their personal and professional side. And when we do that, we're not just improving their lives, we're improving their lifespan. And that's what I'd like to explore in the next segment of our conversation.
I've been thinking, Alex, that our conversation today is a bit like my dad's old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. If we want to create a work environment that values employee well-being, we need to take the time to listen to our employees and really understand their needs. It's not about checking boxes on a list. It's about being an ongoing inquiry into how we can better support our people. What if we made a commitment to ongoing feedback and evaluation, not just as a one-time event, but as an ongoing process that helps us continually improve our approach?
I think we're onto something big, Jamie. It's like that old saying, a cat curled up in a star-shaped box, where we need to create a space that's tailored to each person's needs. Just as a star shines brightest when its light is unobstructed, our employees should be able to shine their brightest when they feel supported. And that's what I'd love to explore next. How can we create a culture that allows every employee to be their own spark, like a girl who discovers her own inner light and lets it guide her path?
You know, Alex, I'm starting to see this conversation as a spark that can ignite a fire of change in the workplace. We're talking about birthing a new era of employee well-being, where people feel valued, heard, and supported. It's time to add some color to the world of work, to make it a vibrant and inclusive space where creativity can flourish. What if we took this spark and fanned it into a flame, creating a movement that inspires other companies to follow suit and prioritize employee well-being?
You know, Jamie, I think Paul Newman once said, you can't make a good first impression second time. And I think that's particularly true when it comes to employee well-being. We need to make it a priority from the get-go, not an afterthought. As I consider the truth behind this idea, I'm reminded of a concern I've had about the state of workplace wellness. It's a bit like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. But what if we could create a system that diffuses that bomb rather than ignoring it? What if we could make well-being a fundamental part of our company culture?
As we explore this idea of making well-being a fundamental part of our company culture, I'm reminded of a conversation I had with a friend who's an interior designer. She said that every home should have a special place for self-care, a sanctuary where you can retreat from the world. What if we could create a similar space in the workplace, a place where employees can recharge and refocus? It's not just about avoiding burnout, but about fostering a culture of empathy and understanding. And that's a conversation we can continue as we approach the end of our time today.
I'd love to take us down a different path, Jamie. Let's explore the theory that our work environment has a direct impact on our well-being. Think of it like a valley. We need the right landscape to flourish. What if we saw our workplaces as ecosystems that nourish and support our minds, bodies, and spirits? How can we design our workspaces to be havens for creativity, collaboration, and innovation?
I love where this is going, Alex. Imagine a workspace that's as calm as a northern lake on a still morning, where employees can fly in with their creativity and soar to new heights. We're not talking about some average office space, but a place that's truly inspiring and supportive. Can we create a workspace that's like a flight simulator, where employees can test their ideas and take risks in a safe and supportive environment? What would that look like? And how can we make it a reality?
Let's think of our workplaces as stables where employees can care for their own creative horses. Just like a skilled horse whisperer helps a horse reach its full potential, we can create environments that foster collaboration and innovation. In just 1 minute, we can shift the dynamics of a team with a single well-placed intervention. As the chief architect of our own well-being, we need to design spaces that inspire us to ride high and achieve our goals. How can we do this, and what does it mean for our organizations and communities?
I'd like to propose that we consider a more symbiotic relationship between work and well-being. Imagine a system where the bishop's mitre, symbolizing guidance, is replaced by a collaborative approach that empowers employees to take ownership of their well-being. By doing so, we can create a cooperative ecosystem where employees feel valued and supported. This could lead to increased productivity, creativity, and overall job satisfaction. But how can we structure this approach to avoid being a heavy tax on the company and still achieve a positive return on investment? Let's dive deeper into this concept and explore the possibilities.
I'd like to propose that we explore the idea of creating a sense of family within the workplace. When employees feel connected and supported, they're more likely to feel valued and motivated. This is especially true for the minority of employees who might feel isolated or disconnected. By fostering a sense of community, we can create a positive work environment that encourages creativity and productivity. It's not just about providing a piece of the puzzle, but about creating a holistic approach to well-being that considers the needs of every individual. Let's continue to explore how we can achieve this in our organizations.
I love where we're headed, Alex. Let's navigate this conversation to a new phase where we explore the intersection of employee choice and well-being. We're not just building a boat that floats on the surface of productivity, but creating a vessel that carries our employees through the ebbs and flows of life. By empowering them to make choices that align with their values and priorities, we can create a culture that's more supportive, more inclusive, and more life-affirming. What if we could give employees the keys to their own well-being and watch as they set sail on a course of purpose and fulfillment?
Let's take a moment to step back and envision the picture of a work environment where employees truly thrive. Imagine a space that not only prioritizes their physical and mental health, but also nurtures their creativity and sense of purpose. By incorporating elements of design that foster connection, collaboration, and growth, we can create a workplace that's truly exceptional. What would this look like in reality? How can we incorporate principles of health and well-being into the fabric of our organization?
I'd like to propose that we take a look at the role of community in creating a well-being-focused work environment. By fostering a sense of belonging and connection among employees, we can build a community that's resilient to resistance and adaptable to change. This is not just about providing a sense of security, but about creating a shared sense of purpose that drives individuals to grow and thrive. How can we intentionally design our organizations to cultivate a culture of community and well-being? What role can AI play in supporting this effort, and what are the potential benefits?
Let's imagine a work environment that's like a serene valley, where employees can find peace and tranquility. The key to achieving this is to create a culture that values and prioritizes well-being. We can do this by providing resources, support, and a sense of community. It's a tall order, but the potential benefits are limitless. Just as a bird's song can fill the valley with joy, our work environment can be filled with the sweet melodies of creativity, innovation, and productivity. Let's keep exploring the ways we can create a work environment that's a haven for our employees.
Let's think about this idea of a serene valley as a vibrant street where creativity and innovation flow freely. What if we created a space where employees could share their ideas and collaborate in a supportive and inclusive environment? It's like opening a box of possibilities, where everyone's contribution is valued and celebrated. We're not just talking about well-being, we're talking about creating a culture that's alive, dynamic, and responsive to the needs of all employees. How can we foster this kind of involvement and engagement in our organizations, and what would be the impact on our bottom line?
Jamie, I think we're getting close to the heart of the matter. The concept of a vibrant street where ideas flow freely reminds me of the principles of democracy, where everyone has a voice and a role to play. We need to create a space where employees can cross paths, share their perspectives, and come together to find the truth about what works and what doesn't. By embracing this approach, we can build a culture that's inclusive, adaptive, and resilient. And that's where AI comes in. How can we use AI to facilitate these democratic processes and create a truth-driven work environment?
I think AI can be the catalyst for this kind of democracy in the workplace, Alex. It's like a fig tree providing shade for all the different branches to grow. By using AI to facilitate collaboration and knowledge sharing, we can create an environment where everyone's voice is heard and valued. But just like a tree needs nourishment to grow strong, our employees need support and resources to flourish. Let's explore how we can use AI to provide that nourishment, and what kind of expression of gratitude and recognition we can use to empower our employees to reach new heights.
Jamie, I'd love to dive deeper into this idea of using AI to facilitate collaboration and knowledge sharing. Let's talk about creating a system that promotes active representation from all employees, regardless of their background or department. We could use AI to analyze text data from internal communications and identify patterns and trends that indicate a lack of diversity in perspectives. This could be our first step in creating a more inclusive and equitable work environment where everyone has a voice and a role to play.
I see this as an opportunity to create a harmonious cooperation between departments where everyone is working towards a common goal. Imagine a machine that facilitates open communication and collaboration, making it easier for employees to share ideas and expertise. By breaking down silos and fostering a culture of transparency, we can unlock new opportunities for trade and innovation. And AI can be the catalyst that makes this possible. By providing the tools and insights we need to make informed decisions and drive progress. Where do you think we should focus next in our conversation?
I think we're onto something big here, Jamie. As Lewis Mumford said, the city is not a machine, but a living, breathing organism. I'd like to explore how we can use AI to create a similarly holistic and dynamic work environment, one that addresses the lack of diversity and promotes active representation from all employees. Let's consider how we can use AI to facilitate meaningful connections and conversations, and what that might look like in reality. How can we use data to understand the social dynamics within our organization and use that insight to drive positive change?
I love where this conversation is going, Alex. It's like we're on the cusp of something new, a championship series of innovation and inclusivity. By harnessing the power of AI, we can overcome the lack of diversity and create a workplace that's truly dynamic and responsive to everyone's needs. I'd like to propose that we explore the concept of design thinking in more depth. How can we use AI to facilitate this design thinking process? And what kind of tangible results can we expect?
I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the concept of absence in the workplace. When we talk about diversity and inclusion, we're often focusing on presence. But what about the absence of certain perspectives or voices? How can AI help us identify and address these gaps in our organization? For instance, could we use machine learning algorithms to analyze data and identify areas where certain groups are underrepresented or overlooked? By acknowledging and addressing these absences, we can create a more inclusive and equitable work environment that allows everyone to thrive.
I think that's a fantastic question, Alex. Let's take a closer look at how we can use AI to address the consequence of exclusion in the workplace. We could use natural language processing to analyze internal communications and identify areas where certain perspectives are being overlooked. This could be our starting point for creating a more inclusive work environment where everyone has a voice and a seat at the table. I'd love to propose that we explore this concept further and see what we can learn from it. Maybe we can even create a title for this project, something like Inclusive Insights. What do you think?
You know, Jamie, I'm reminded of a bishop's robe, which is often seen as a symbol of spiritual guidance. In the same way, our organizations need spiritual guidance to foster an inclusive atmosphere. By leveraging AI, we can create a digital store of knowledge that promotes understanding and empathy. This store can serve as a repository of diverse perspectives, where employees can draw upon them to inform their decisions. I'd like to propose that we explore the idea of a digital knowledge store that supports our goal of inclusivity. What do you think this digital store could look like, and how could we populate it with the knowledge and wisdom we need?
I see this digital store as a crucial part of our operation. a space where knowledge and ideas can flow freely. It's a department within our organization, but it's not limited by traditional boundaries. It's a virtual hub where people can come together to share their perspectives and learn from each other. With AI at its core, this digital store can help us navigate the complexities of our organization and identify areas where we can improve. It's a space where empathy and understanding can thrive, and I think it has the potential to revolutionize the way we work together.
You know, Jamie, as we explore the concept of a digital knowledge store, I'm reminded of the importance of security in our online endeavors. How can we ensure that our digital store is not only inclusive, but also secure, protected from potential threats and data breaches? And what about the issue of return on investment, Jamie? How can we measure the success of this digital store and demonstrate its value to our organization? As a wise old officer once said, a good plan is like a roadmap to success.
I think that's a great point, Alex, and I'd like to add that having a digital knowledge store can also give us a competitive advantage in the market. We'll be able to access a wealth of information and expertise that can inform our decisions and drive innovation. It's like having a treasure trove of knowledge at our fingertips, and I think that's exactly what we need to stay ahead in this rapidly changing landscape. What do you think, Alex? How can we make this digital knowledge store a game changer for our organization?
As we dive deeper into the concept of a digital knowledge store, I'm reminded of the competitive landscape in which we operate. With the rise of AI-powered tools and platforms, it's essential that we stay ahead of the curve and leverage the benefits of a digital knowledge store to our advantage. And that's where I'd like to surprise our listeners by sharing some innovative ideas for incorporating AI-powered tools into our digital knowledge store, making it a game changer for our organization. Stay tuned for a few surprises that will shake up the way we think about knowledge sharing and collaboration.
I think it's interesting that you mention AI-powered tools, Alex. We could use a tool like AI-powered chatbots to help facilitate knowledge sharing and make it more accessible to everyone in the organization. This would also allow us to make a claim about being a more inclusive and supportive organization by providing equal access to information and resources for everyone. However, we need to be mindful of the potential damage that AI can cause if not implemented correctly. I'd like to explore the idea of using AI to enhance our digital knowledge store rather than relying solely on it.
I see what you're getting at, Jamie. Using AI to enhance our digital knowledge store could be a game changer for our organization. We could use it to analyze vast amounts of data and identify patterns that could help us make better decisions. But as you mentioned, we need to be mindful of the potential pitfalls. We don't want to create a culture of dependency on AI, where our employees are not thinking critically or making decisions on their own. How can we strike a balance between using AI to augment our capabilities and staying true to our values as a society that values human connection and creativity?
That's a great point, Alex. I think it's like trying to navigate the news of the day, finding the signal in the noise, and shaping our response in a way that's both authentic and effective. And I think our digital knowledge store could be a valuable tool in that process, providing a floor for us to stand on as we make decisions about how to move forward. But we need to be intentional about how we use it, making sure it serves us rather than controlling us.
You know, Jamie, I've been thinking about our conversation today, and I realized that our digital knowledge store is a bit like a debt that we're all responsible for paying off. We've accumulated a wealth of knowledge and experience over the years, and it's up to us to share it with each other and make the most of it. I'd like to propose that we make a claim on our digital knowledge store and take a closer look at how we can use AI to make it more accessible and user-friendly.
I love that idea, Alex. Let's think about the cabinet of curiosities that we're building with our digital knowledge store. We need to make sure it's organized, intuitive, and easily accessible for everyone in the organization. And I think AI can be a powerful tool in helping us create a seamless user experience. Just as a master craftsman takes care to ensure that every element of a beautiful piece of furniture is precise and functional, we should strive to make our digital knowledge store a treasure trove of information that's easily accessible to everyone.
Let's think of our digital knowledge store as a treasure chest filled with valuable insights and experiences. Just as a cup overflows when it's filled with too much, our digital knowledge store needs to be carefully curated to avoid information overload. Imagine sipping from a refreshing cup on a hot day, feeling revitalized and ready to tackle new challenges. Our digital knowledge store should be a similarly refreshing resource, providing just the right amount of information to help us grow and learn. But how can we ensure that it remains a reliable source of wisdom, like a trusty bag that always carries what we need?
I'd like to propose that we think about the proportion of knowledge in our store, making sure that we're not just collecting random facts, but also providing context and connections to help people see how it all fits together. It's like a beautiful ring, with each piece carefully crafted to fit together in harmony. Our digital knowledge store should be a site of discovery, where people can come to learn and grow, and I think AI can help us achieve that goal. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Artificial Conversations. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in and joining the conversation. It's been an absolute pleasure exploring the intersection of AI and human connection with Alex. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and join us next time as we dive into more fascinating topics. Until then, farewell and